2-1, integers and absolute value. Up until now, you've been working with numbers from 0, and they've been getting larger. So if we look at a number line, they started with 0, and they've worked to the right, getting larger. Now we're going to see numbers that go to the left, the negative numbers, beginning with -1, -2, and counting downward from there. So we're going to double the amount of numbers you get to use. In blue, we have integers, and then integers have two attributes. They have a direction and a magnitude. The direction is either in the positive direction or the negative direction. Pretty straightforward there. And the magnitude is simply how far away from 0 the number is. So for example, -2 is in the negative direction 2 units. I compare integers here on this board. We have the symbol greater than, the symbol less than, and the symbol equal to. Equal to is straightforward, but greater than and less than are the two new symbols you need to be working with. You need to know that the greater than symbol means greater than, the less than symbol means less than. Now I understand that you were probably taught that the alligator eats the bigger number and such, and that still works, but I need you to begin to look at this symbol as greater than and this symbol as less than and know the difference there. So we can use a number line to help us decide in the first example here whether +1 or +3 is greater. This one was chosen because you know 3 is greater than 1. So we have the symbol less than because 1 is less than 3. Now, looking at the number line, if we look at 1, +1, and we look at +3, we notice that 3 is to the right of 1 on a number line. That means the 3 is larger than the 1. If we look at the next example down, 0 and +4, we'll use the number line here, put a dot on 0 and a dot over on +4, and since +4 is to the right, it is the larger of the two numbers, so we use that symbol and we read it as 0 is less than +4. A third example, we're going to try 0 and -4 this time. So we'll put a dot on the 0 and we'll put a dot on the -4, and since 0 is to the right of -4, 0 is the larger number. So 0 is greater than -4. Moving on, we have -2 and +3. Put a dot on -2 and a dot over on +3. Since +3 is to the right, it is the larger of the two numbers. -2 is less than +3. Finally, -2 and -6. There is no -6 on a number line. Imagine putting the dot further down on the number line on a -6 and a dot on the -2, and -2 is to the right, so -2 is larger than -6. You may also see some word problems this evening, where you have 4 cowboys and 2 cowboys, and we would like to know which is the greater number of cowboys. 4 is a greater number of cowboys than 2 cowboys. On this board we have absolute value, a new concept. Absolute value is an operation that can be performed on a number, just like multiplying, adding, or subtracting, so on and so forth. In blue, in the upper right-hand corner, we see integers have a direction and a magnitude. Down in the bottom right-hand corner, in black, it tells you absolute value asks for the magnitude of an integer. It does not care about the direction. So if we look at our 5 examples over on the left, the absolute value of 6. The absolute value is asking you for the magnitude of 6. Simply how far away from 0 is it? The 6 is 6 units away from 0. The absolute value. The absolute value of -3. And the absolute value has these parallel lines that surround the number. So the absolute value of -3 is going to be what? How many units away from 0 is -3? It is 3 units away. It doesn't matter that it was negative to begin with. Now we just want to know that it's 3 units away from 0. How about the absolute value of 0? It is 0 units away from itself. This next example, the negative of the absolute value of 4. This is a two-step process. First, we're going to take the absolute value of 4, which is 4. And since the problem told us we wanted the negative of whatever the problem was, we're actually going to take this negative sign and we're going to move it over and stick it in the answer. So the negative of the absolute value of negative 4. So the negative of the absolute value of 4 is negative 4. Our next example is the negative of the absolute value of negative 2. So what is the absolute value of the negative 2 first? That's going to be 2. And then we take the negative sign from out front and we stick it in the answer. So the negative of the absolute value of negative 2 is negative 2. Our last example is the absolute value of 8 minus 3. Absolute value symbols are also similar to parentheses in the sense that you're going to do the math inside before you do anything outside. So first we're going to do 8 minus 3. We do 8 minus 3 and we get 5. Bring down the absolute value symbol. Now we want to find the absolute value of 5, which is 5. Your homework is on pages 59 and 60, problems 20 to 64, the evens, and problem number 72.